Minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto today at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. This is the market update. The market update you trust when it's going up and it's going down. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com, the preeminent research site and research house in crypto. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you're like, what do I buy? When do I sell? Then subscribe to this channel. Turn on the alerts bell so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please smash the like button. All right, just an administrative note. We're going to be over on Crypto Keepers channel tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for like a TA roundtable. So we may tweet that out later. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to welcome who's on the stream. Okay, Ali in London. Right? Welcome, sir. First on the stream. Brody, right? We have Noah, right? We have Calgary. Greetings from Oxford. We have Aiken. Aiken giving me some notorious love. We appreciate that, Aiken, right? Shizzy L says, I'm so happy Elon sold. Now there is seriously no one left to sell. Like, who could be selling now? Well, and that's the market update. I'll see you tomorrow. Seriously. Shizzy L just did the market update. I'll give you the details. Don't go anywhere, but that is the bottom line. Okay, we have Dan from Jersey. Welcome. We have the Middle East coming in. We have Montreal, Augusta, Georgia, right down there in BitBoy country. We have Edgar from California. Michigan, right? North Beach, California. MMKX56 says Noble Capital Management. All right. Well, I appreciate that. That is a lofty goal. In between that and this, we will give you the best research that we can. All right. Just adjusting a camera there. Steven giving me some notorious love. We have East Tennessee, Australia, right? SKT Khan, a regular, welcome. Fontana, California, India up late at night. Kentucky, Tampa, the Philippines, Leeds, England here, Romania, right? New York City. Saw me on the Astrobot Discord. Want to know what that is? Stay tuned. We have New Jersey, Uganda, Argentina, right? Okay, somebody says, good to see the show. I'm really hurt by what happened with Celsius, and I'm sorry that you're hurt by Celsius, but there is good news. So yesterday I interviewed a guy from Celsius, not a guy from Celsius, one of Celsius's biggest creditors, meaning Celsius owes him a lot of money. And there's a very, very big point off that interview that I'm going to go over today. Okay. We have Ricardo from Italy thanking me for what I do, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. We have Nigeria, North Carolina is here, right? We have all our regulars. One guy says, Arik says, we are all regulars. That's what I'm talking about, regulars. The people who show up, everybody's always like, oh, subscribe, like, yeah, of course. We're in that camp too, right? We need to eat, right? We need to expand our base, but we don't skimp on the gratitude for the people who show up every day. All right, people, let's start with the news. let's just talk about Elon. Okay. So let's start with how Elon Musk keeps Tesla in the limelight, right? So when Bitcoin was hot, right, Elon had to jump in. Michael Saylor was doing it. Everybody was doing it. So Elon, he would say, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin would go down, and then he'd say, I'm going to sell Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin would go down further, and then he'd say, well, I have diamond hands in Bitcoin, right? So Elon had control of the Bitcoin narrative for like, I don't know, at least a month. Okay. Then all of a sudden, Elon realizes, hey, this thing can go down too. Imagine that. And his treasurer is calling him going, Elon, we have a lot of Bitcoin and it's going lower. When Elon bought it on the way up, his quarterly earnings showed that he made more money from Bitcoin than he did selling Tesla. So undoubtedly, there are two reasons why Elon sold, right? Actually, three. One, it was no fun to talk about it on Twitter anymore. That's just obvious, right? Two, his treasury was like, dude, if this thing crashes, it's going to blow up our earnings. We are not a hedge fund. We're a car company, right? So these guys were like, listen, we can't blow up over this because, the treasurer of Tesla is not necessarily a Bitcoin expert. These guys do other things and help manage like the money that Tesla borrows or what happens with Tesla stock and buybacks and things like that. They're not crypto experts. So they got, Elon got a little tap on the shoulder there going, can we talk about this? And then, of course, there's another thing. I put it on Twitter and Twitter took it down. That's okay, right? How can Elon back out of Twitter? He backs out of buying Twitter and gets sued. And one of the things that they're going to say when they sue him over this is this guy talks about buying Twitter and then backs out of that so he can do what? Speculate in Bitcoin? So Elon had to sell, right? His treasury told him to sell. It was no fun on Twitter. And whatever comes of, the Twitter lawsuit, he's got to be out of crypto. Now, let's go over the list of everybody who sold, right? 3 Hours Capital, right? Luna got liquidated. Voyager, BlockFi, right? It's right here, right? Celsius, Tesla sells, right? And everybody who was going to sell has sold. Now, you might say, all right, what about Celsius? Well, yesterday, we talked to Simon Dixon. When I thought about that conversation, here's what he said. So he's advocating for people who have money trapped in Celsius. So there's going to be a big debate and a fight in bankruptcy court over how Celsius gets restructured. Now, after listening to this guy, my money is on Simon Dixon. And here's what I heard from him. He wants to turn Celsius into a regulated bank, right? A legitimate lending entity that revolves around Bitcoin. And they want to offer people who have money in the old Celsius to keep money in the new regulated entity. Now, how are they going to do that? Well, I was like, I don't know. I didn't ask them, right? But I would imagine they're either going to offer you a great interest rate on Bitcoin or they might give you Bitcoin. And I'm like, not only is all that Bitcoin collateral that Celsius had not going to get dumped on the market, but I think this guy actually wants to hang on to that Bitcoin. He wants to create a bank that is legal, that's not, a casino like these other places, like what Celsius was. Go back and watch the video for more details. But if Elon sold, the Celsius Bitcoin's not hitting the market. We're 4 or 6K away from Michael Saylor's average price. So he's not going to sell, right? Even if he's levered, there's no pressure on him to sell at this point. So who's left to sell? Nobody. And what happens when hedge funds start coming in and pushing this thing? Like, my bet is on Ray Dalio from Bridgewater. I've talked about this. It is a question of time before some huge hedge fund player comes in and says, I've already bought billions in Bitcoin and I'm going to buy billions more and I'm just going to keep pushing it. Like, it's a question of time. That's my opinion. So we're going to go through some charts in a bit, some of which are on my Twitter. But the bottom line of the news is, right, who's left to sell? Okay. So we have embattled crypto lender owes $400 million to creditors. That's Vauld, right? More media FUD. If the media is publishing negative headlines, even if they're factual, so if the media is peddling disaster, PORN, right? If they're peddling PORN disaster, right? Then it's bullish, even if it's true, right? So it's really easy for our news guy to find all this. Like, this is sad, right? Blockchain.com cuts 25% of its workforce amid crypto bear market. Crypto trading firm said it would be closing down its Argentina-based offices and halting team expansion plans in several countries, just in time for Bitcoin to go back to 42K. Seriously. I have seen this at Wall Street. Oh my God. You know, I have seen the stock market go down. Every single analyst, like Coinbase, right? Goldman, downgrading Coinbase at the absolute low. So let's put a sell rating on the whole market. Kramer says the market crypto has no value. And everybody is firing everybody. Like, oh, we got to cut our workforce by 20%. And it's capital P for panic. You want to know what happens when people panic? Up only. Up only. Seriously. I mean, I thought the panic was going to be measured by price. So I had the 1929 example, okay, where I thought that price was just going to cascade lower because all these players like Celsius were going to actually have to be forced to liquidate. As it turned out, it wasn't a panic in price like 29. It was a panic in sentiment. Now, Simon Dixon, right? I mean, this guy was so smart. It's crazy. So anybody who's not watched that video, go back and watch the video. Rarely do I say, go back and watch the video, go back and watch the video. He said it was like the financial panic of 1907, which I have some familiarity with. And what this guy was talking about is that panic. So, you know, we had people get a little over leveraged and the market dumped. And then JP Morgan came in and played like the FTX, right? Bought a bunch of companies for nothing in exchange for like a lending bailout. But that event led to the creation of the Fed. Now, I said to this guy, like, you know, because he actually brought it up. He said, are they going to create a crypto? They're going to create a crypto Fed. They're going to create a decentralized lender of last resort, which I would just imagine, meaning every big player in crypto, somehow there's a decentralized entity like a DAO that everybody kind of donates to, the way people pay, you know, banks pay or people pay a certain premium for FDIC insurance, right? So people will pay insurance premiums to insure the system. All right. How long is that going to take to get done? I don't know. But can you imagine if you have no sellers, right? No sellers, everyone negative, everyone, nobody believes it can go up, and something happens to stabilize the system. So somebody comes out and said, you know what? We're going to make sure this never happens again. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating to say that, I don't know, maybe a permanent bottom is in. But folks, speed, magnitude, and direction. high school physics. Whatever goes down a certain way can go back up a certain way. So if it was down only, it can be up only. And it can happen in a week. Like, I think the end of July is a big period. August, we go on vacation. And September is rectember for shorts. I think the whole Gann equation is reversed. I think September is going to be up potentially for crypto and stocks. Big. We'll see if that turns out to be correct. Okay. BlackRock is breaking the wrong kind of records. Clients of the world's largest asset manager lost an unprecedented $1.7 trillion in the first half's market carnage. The most significant amount of money lost by a single firm over a 6-month period. Now, here's an interesting little note about legacy. So BlackRock lost a ton of money. There was a Bloomberg article yesterday that I referred to saying that basically all of the BlackRocks of the world have switched their asset allocations to being overweight bonds because bonds give you a decent yield, and everybody's afraid that the second half of the year is going to look like the first half of the year. Now, I have no love for legacy and no love for stocks, but let me ask you something. If that's what the media is trotting around, if the media is like, oh my God, the losses, oh my God, everybody's in bonds, is that a contrarian signal to you? It is to me. And in the crypto world, right, where crypto moves way before legacy does. So if everyone's bearish in crypto and everyone's bearish in legacy, legacy may go up later, maybe, but crypto's going to go up first and fast, right? So this is a very relevant headline. Now, let's switch over to one of my ideas that I actually got from a guy I respect internally. Let's talk about Polkadot, right? I'm going to show the Polkadot chart later. So don't go anywhere. We're also going to have live TA and talk about token metrics, right? Final Fantasy's NFTs coming to Polkadot in Square Enix Engine Alliance. You know, when everyone talks about Web3, what are people talking about? Talking about bunny NFTs? What are they talking about? I'm talking about connectivity. See what Cosmos has been doing? Cosmos up like 10%. Cosmos went from 5 to 10, and we said, don't be afraid to buy it, and it's up another 10% today. Percentage moves, in my mind, they mean nothing. Just like coming off the lows in 2008 or 2009. Like, don't think you can't buy something because it's 30% off the lows. Don't play that game yet. Eventually, like if Bitcoin's at 37 or 40, yeah, then you have to start thinking about it. But I mean, Polkadot, they were selling it this morning again. And I'm like, you know, at Token Metrics, we do value investing. So why are we not doing value investing in Polkadot? Because, you know, Final Fantasy, right? This was a huge, huge game back in the day. Huge. So if this is coming to Polkadot, Polkadot could start developing catalysts, right? And Kusama has showed up in our token metrics indices. What's a token metrics indice? Well, our site picks top-rated coins and then mixes them together in a portfolio. So depending on what exchange you trade on, you can go find the coins that look good for that day. We'll go into more of that later. All right. Now, again, just to drive the point home about the FUD, the New York DA, 3 charged in first ever cryptocurrency insider trading tipping scene. Former Coinbase employee allegedly tipped his brother and friends regarding crypto assets that were going to be listed on Coinbase exchanges. Wow, what a surprise. Men behaving badly. Now, I know that when I said that on the stream way back when, you were like, Bill, what does that mean? What are you talking about? Like when you have these down markets, man, you have, Celsius advertising itself as a bank and then acting like a hedge fund, right? You have people doing insider trading. You have risk management at Three Arrows that was so irresponsible, the founders became fugitives. Men behaving badly. The worse they behave, the more the market goes down, the lower the market goes, the more forced liquidation that happens, and the more forced liquidation that happens, the bigger the buying opportunity. Okay? Now, some brief economic news just to keep you posted, right? Fed to stick to 75 basis point hike, right? 40% chance of a recession. Okay. The U.S. Federal Reserve next week will opt for another 75 basis point hike rather than a larger move, right? According to a Reuters poll of economists. And they estimate next year, the recession risk is 40%. Okay. Now, let's talk about the Fed. All that has to happen in crypto, for crypto to go completely ballistic after the Fed meeting, is you just need one teeny tiny acknowledgement from Jerome Powell that certain sectors of the economy are weakening, or he can acknowledge the seemingly epic rollover in commodity prices. Like oil topped out, copper topped out. I mean, CRB, I'm not going to bore you with the charts. It's easier to talk to it. All you need is Jerome Powell to acknowledge that the economy and demand seem to be at least slowing for everybody to go, okay, the next rate hike or the next two rate hikes are it, and they'll be easing by X date next year. And even if that's a fantasy, I don't know if it is or not, but all you need is this much of an acknowledgement for Powell, and crypto is gone. Like Bitcoin is at 32. Right? Any hint that, they're going to keep doing 75, but any hint that the economy's rolling over from them, it's gone. Okay? So that's the news. That's the views. Now, let's go to a chart. Okay? Let's go to something a little bit different. Okay? So this is the hand-drawn Gantt stuff that I do on my Twitter. All right? And what you can hopefully see is right here where the mouse is. This is the hand-drawn chart of Ethereum. Once Ethereum broke 1,200, that's what this line is here. Once it broke 1,200, right, it was gone. And what it did was it rallied to a 45-degree line drawn off the low, the recent low. And this is typical, right? When markets go crazy like this, it'll rally to its 45-degree line. Now, just as a point of information, if ETH is strong enough to take out 1,700, okay, there's nobody home until much higher prices, right? I don't know if the chart captures it right. So if ETH takes out 1,700, you could be looking at 2,200. And then I think the next date where you have to worry about a top, even if ETH goes sideways, is probably August 6th. So you got to watch out for this thing at the end of the month, okay? The ETH merge is coming up. And yesterday I did like a deep dive report, which is coming out soon, which talks about all the different ways that Solana and Avalanche and Near compete with Ethereum. So if you like that, if you want to hear that, right, and you want to hear like why all these layer ones are different, check that out. But you know what? When I got done hearing the narrative about how everyone was going to kill ETH, I was like, you know what? No one's killing ETH. Like, or maybe I'd better say it this way. Good luck killing ETH. Seriously. Good luck with that. Me and Ian were famous ETH maximalists back when we had the Sunday live stream, right? We came on, ETH was at 300. We would talk, but the end of the day was, it was the bigger the base, the higher in the space, and just buy ETH. And this merge is coming up, and I'm not going to get in front of this because when ETH moves, it just moves. So yeah, there's resistance at 1700. We've talked about 1700 before. Okay, now there's another point to this. Okay, so it's like you might be saying, okay, Bill, well, no shit, ETH's up 40%. It's easy to be bullish. I'm like, all right, I get that. But let's look at Big Brother Bitcoin. Okay, let's look at Big Brother. So Big Brother Bitcoin breaks through 21, okay, and then proceeds to start rallying. And the 45-degree line in Bitcoin is at 32K. So if Bitcoin does what ETH just did, Bitcoin's going to 32K. And that's the market update. No kidding, right? In other words, it's like, just look at the picture. It's like, okay, ETH did it, breakout, go. Bitcoin could be next. Like Elon sold and the market went down. I'm like, what? There's no seller left. And it's just a question of time. Like, you got a lot of people buying altcoins. And of course, we're an altcoin house. So I really don't mind it if people are buying altcoins. I'm like, wait a minute, people. People may be buying the wrong stuff here. I mean, it's like ETH, Polkadot, and Bitcoin. You know, maybe some Avalanche for a trading play, or maybe some ApeCoin. But it's like Bitcoin, ETH. Like, to say that these things are done going up, or everyone's talking about a local top, that's bullshit, right? It may sit here for 3 days, and August may be choppy and boring. But okay, so maybe it, you know, maybe it can pause. But folks, don't underestimate what can happen, say, the last 10 days or post-Fed of this month. Do not. Okay. Let's go to the market update. Let's do some PowerPoint. All right. Now, I can't sing. We do have a guy that's in a rock band, but Journey, right? It was popular when I was a kid, and it came back into vogue, like, I don't know, say 5 years ago. Don't stop believing, right? Don't tell yourself that this is over. It's not over. It's not, in my opinion. Token Metrics market indicator for total crypto market cap has flipped to bullish. What does that mean? That means a momentum trend following system, which is undoubtedly used by a lot of other players, has flipped bullish. And as I said yesterday, when you get these things that flip, right, when it flips to bullish, frequently there'll be a correction, which there was this morning. I mean, kind of looked like it was going to crash. All the swing traders on Twitter are like, oh, I can't wait to get short. Don't feed the bull. Or actually, with the short sellers, it's like, please feed the bull, right? Now, I don't know if they're going to get squeezed out today or post-Fed or whatever. The market may dip. We'll go into more of that in a minute. Short sellers feed the bull, right? Now, if they wind up being right, okay, they wind up being right. We'll just flip it all around. And what we did, beware the failed rally, because this is where I got it from back in April. It was like, okay, it's going up, and then, okay, it's not. So when these signals work, they go up, they go sideways, right? And then they go. Or it just goes, right? Which happened in Matic. Right, now, this is still my favorite statistic. And I got a lot of cool charts on this, by the way. This is from Token Metrics' market page. This is the number of coins in the top 300 that are above their 60-day exponential moving average. So it's kind of like saying their average price over like the last, I don't know, 2 months. Only 5% of the, even with this huge rally, only 5% of the coins. This number actually went down. only 5% of the coins are above their 60-day moving average. So what is the market going to look like if this statistic flips to 80? If the dial goes the other way? In other words, what is the market going to do when all the big coins go through their 60-day? Now, why are we looking at the 60-day? Well, our quant department did some sort of elaborate back test and found that the 60-day exponential moving average was really important for figuring out market direction. Now, we have total crypto market cap. All right. So we had the pi cycle bottom. This is on TradingView to go along with the token metric signal. We have the 60-day exponential moving average at 1.04 trillion. And we have the pi cycle moving average system. It has the next moving average at 1.35 trillion. So, you know, whether it goes to 1.35 or 1.4, 1.5, I don't know. If you're going to add $350 to $500 billion to total crypto market cap, how does that happen? Well, it's obviously got to be Bitcoin, and it's obviously got to be ETH, and then it's got to be one other big altcoin that just smokes higher. Could be Avalanche, could be, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that wish it was XRP, but I think it could be just Bitcoin and ETH that just smokes. Bitcoin in particular. Okay, let's look at ETH on a tactical basis. So one of the things that I look for when you have like mega uptrends, right? When you have something where it's like, all right, you know, this thing is up only and I got to figure out where to buy the dip. So roughly 1470 was like the 23% retracement of the move up in ETH. So in equities, when equities go up only, right, back in the QE days, S&P would only really retrace 23%, you know. Right. Now, a lot of times if you go past, say, 38%, you would go to 62%. So if ETH went below 1380, it might go to 1234, right? Now, that's possible. I know the swing traders are all looking for that. But you know what? There's a saying that I came up with in the market. So I was the assistant 10-year note government bond trader, and I worked for this guy, and he looked at me and said, you know what, Bill? Everyone likes it tight. Everyone likes it when, oh, I have to buy. Oh, great. The market will just go down so I can buy. No, that wasn't true at 1280 because people wanted it to go to 800 and it didn't happen. Okay. Now ETH is at 1470 or 1500. No one wants to buy it. Everyone wants it to go down so they can buy it like hedge funds. And guess what? It's not going lower. Now, it may not explode higher today, right? I still think Bitcoin and Polkadot can, and I'm assuming ETH could go with it. But the point is, when this thing dipped 23%, somebody was down there. Now, you may be watching this video 3 days later, so this 89-minute chart may not be relevant, but it might be, because as soon as it dipped, someone was there. I am not the only person who can draw these charts. Okay, just as a reminder, ETH on the visual trends indicator on token metrics went green yesterday. Okay, when I compare it to the July bottom, just visually, okay, it looks somewhat similar. So that, with the way that unfolded was ETH went up, ETH dipped, and then ETH went back to up only, which fits with what's on the Gantt charts. Right? In other words, ETH takes out that 45-degree line at 1700, right? And it stays above that 45-degree line, it is gone. Right? When you break through a 45-degree line one way or the other, you get explosive moves. Now, again, I know it's easy to be bullish when something's already up, but don't think because ETH is up 40% that it's somehow overbought or overvalued. Because with the ETH merge and with this whole idea that, oh, XYZ layer one is going to kill ETH. Absolutely not. No, I'm sorry. No one's going to kill ETH. That's my theory right now. Everyone's going to kill ETH was last year's trade. So everyone's like, ooh, what layer one am I going to buy? People, you're going to buy ETH. There's an ETH merge coming up. One of the smartest guys I know. I mean, this guy was just dollar cost averaging in ETH. I mean, he was just waving it in down there. Right now, I thought there was going to be a capitulation because staked ETH was going to depeg, but that's not happening. That didn't happen because Celsius filed Chapter 11. Right? They didn't get liquidated like what happened in 1929. They went through bankruptcy instead. So anybody who thinks that they, oh, well, I'm going to buy Solana and not ETH. I mean, yeah, okay. These things can go up. Like if Bitcoin goes to 42K, it's not like those coins won't go up. But we got to remember who the sheriff is back, right? First ETH was everything. Then ETH was nothing. The sheriff's back in town. The sheriff is back in town. Okay, let's look at ETH support and resistance levels drawn by Token Metrics AI. So down here, right, you will notice bottom left-hand corner in green may be a little tough to see, but 1459 was a key point. What was the low this morning? Ta-da! Something like 1459, right? The next point's 1566, and if it's through that, you're looking at 1656 or 1752. And when ETH starts going through these levels, it just starts moving. Like we jumped on ETH when it was above 1208. That was one of the points below, and we didn't jump on it hard enough. We saw it bounce off 1055, and as soon as it took out 1208, I was like, oh my God. And we didn't move fast enough, honestly. Because when it goes up like this, you don't have enough. Okay, this is Avalanche. So Avalanche is kind of up only today. And the reason for that is there's a lot of support at 2381, which is where it dipped to. And the next real resistance is at 31. Now, what has happened, which is why I'm interested I'm so interested in these Token Metrics AI support and resistance levels. Okay, hint, you should be too, is that what you want to see is that what happened in ETH was that ETH bottomed, right? Just like Avalanche bottomed at 14. And then ETH took out 1, 2, 3 resistance points. Actually, it took out more than that, but I think these other coins can take out at least 2 resistance points before they run out of gas. So what do you think is going to happen with hedge funds? Like Avalanche is like, before I got on the air, Avalanche is up like what, 7%? What do you think is going to happen, okay, if Avalanche makes a new high and there's no resistance to 31, so it could take out 31 and then it could take out or try to attack 39, right? Avalanche at 40. Like Avalanche, the high back in February, or there was a lot of, that's the high in Avalanche from May of last year before it blew up and went to 8. So why can't Avalanche just kind of go back to where it sort of was last year at the top? Now, again, I just got done telling you that ETH was like the new sheriff in town, but that doesn't mean that people who are underweight crypto aren't going to find the big altcoin to chase. Like Avalanche, Polkadot, maybe ApeCoin. Okay. Okay, let's talk about NEAR. So NEAR is super complicated. Everybody gave up on this thing at 3. I don't know that this is my absolute favorite, but I will tell you this. If NEAR holds up, right, NEAR went right to its 38% retracement at 4, right? That was here, and people were buying it. So even though I think ETH is the king, right, everybody is still after these layer ones. That to me means hedge funds are just trying to get exposure. They're like, oh my God, buy a dip and whatever's going up, right? I'm not assigning any like long-term spiritual crypto karmic reasoning to anything that's going on here. This is just like buy what's going up, right? And can you imagine what happens when it shifts from, wait a minute, why are we buying this coin to, oh my God, Bitcoin's at 24K? Wait until it switches over to Bitcoin, right? Okay, again, let's go back to ETH. ETH is one of the coins above its 60-day exponential moving average. So ETH didn't trade well the last 2 days. That's these candles. And of course, Elon comes out and, somehow Elon's selling was bearish. I think even crypto Twitter knew it wasn't, but everybody sells, right? And then ETH just comes back. This is called a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. The wire is the moving average, right? And this type of price action, I mean, if Bitcoin is wildly undervalued and no resistance until 32, and ETH is a bird on a wire getting ready to fly, especially once it starts flying, it takes out a 45-degree angle. You got to look out in this thing post-Fed, because what crypto has done, everyone's like, ooh, I can't buy it before the number. I can't buy it before the Fed. Okay, what does crypto do? The Cowboys always win in crypto. They come in like 2 days before the Fed starts, and they go, you know what? I'm buying this thing. Crypto starts moving in advance of the event that everyone in legacy is afraid of. So you got to watch out for that. And I'm showing it to you right now. The bird on a wire getting ready to fly. Sandbox, same thing. In other words, before I was like, there are not that many big coins above their 60-day exponential moving average. Okay. Well, it just so happens that our indices, right, on tokenmetrics.com. Okay. The coins that are sitting on top of their 60-day EMA are the ones that our indices are picking, right? And Sandbox has been in our indices for a while, couple days at least, right? So this NFT metaverse theme, dude, like if someone comes in and wants to get involved, right? And this whole idea about like it's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, maybe it's Polkadot, but it's definitely art, right? And if art in the category of art is metaverse land, we did work on other deeds. So check that video out. And this thing trades like a bull, right? It's just like strong like bull. Bird on a wire, getting ready to fly. Okay, now here's Polkadot. Now, Polkadot, we had a hidden pivot structure that showed $7.17 should be the bottom. And just like everything in this market, Polkadot slammed through 717. This is like 6 days in a row of just like total capitulation. Then that wasn't enough capitulation because it tried to get back above $17 on $7. And then it just fell apart, right? It was just like, oh, okay, let's make this huge new low, right? And all of these lows are unconfirmed by stochastics, which means you have a huge bullish divergence situation. Now, it's tough to see on the chart, but this little itty bitty candlestick from today was like, okay, Elon sold, so let's go down. And where did Polkadot stop? At $7.17, right at the hidden pivot support level. The 60-day EMA in Polkadot is 850. Our indices are picking Kusama. Now, okay, is this going to go up? Maybe. All right. But remember, Polkadot is highly correlated to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes, Polkadot could go harder. That's why I think it's Bitcoin, Polkadot, and ETH, right? If total crypto market cap is going to add $500 billion, because as I've said, right? Oh, I'm in Web3. Oh, I'm going to a Web3 convention. Oh, I have a Web3 bunny ETF. No, people, no, right? Web3 is about connectivity. Don't believe me? Look at Cosmos. Everybody has blown this off, and that is the market update. Okay, so someone wants me to look at DXY. Let's just go into like live TA mode. All right, and I'll also check the comments. Okay, crypto_noble for the Gann charts. Okay, so someone's asking, has DXY topped out? Good question. Okay, so this is how I was looking at DXY. Right. I looked at DXY and I said, all right, I had 108.8 as resistance. So as I've said, the story in DXY was every time DXY went down, went to 103, everyone says it's a top in the dollar, buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, no. And then everybody was like at 104, everyone's like, it's a top in the dollar, buy Bitcoin. And I was like, no. Then the dollar explodes. $1 equals €1. And like I always say, it was all over the media, right? Barron's, $1 equals €1. The dollar is the strongest thing of all time. Stop, please. Give me a break. When it shows up in the press, it's over. I mean, literally, in a technical analysis textbook, right? It will tell you that. If you buy an old-fashioned textbook, don't trade off the newspaper, okay? So, all right. So the dollar is not looking like it's going to collapse, right? But as long as the dollar goes sideways and the euro doesn't crash through $1 equals €1, crypto has got room. Crypto's got room. All right. So that's how I would do that. Then somebody's asking me, what do you think of dot parachains? Right? They have OmniChain coming up, which is BTC custody in a non-custodial fashion. It's at 9 million market cap, only mined through running nodes. All right. So that's beyond my realm of expertise. I just think that you have to watch out in Polkadot for upcoming catalysts. Okay. Upcoming catalysts, right? If you get upcoming catalysts, okay, then, you know, it can be like, wow, we forgot about this. And there may be other coins that people forgot about. Okay. Now, wow, Andre Britz, is USDT safe right now? Okay. So when you own stable coins, you are taking risk. You should obviously understand that by now. Now, if Tether didn't blow up in the last cycle and Bitcoin stays positive, I never offer investment advice about stable coins even before the debacle. Okay? Because you don't know what kind of commercial paper they own. People have stopped paying their mortgages in China. There are tanks outside Chinese banks. You don't know what they own. Now, they may have cleaned up their balance sheet. You just need to be careful. Like, if it was me personally, right, not investment advice, I would rather hold, I actually think at these levels, I would rather hold Bitcoin than a stable coin. Bitcoin is a decentralized, hard money, well-known, seemingly solid cryptocurrency. A stable coin is someone's made up version of a dollar. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. Somebody liked the last sound effect. Okay. I'm glad you like that. A producer is having a little fun, right? The background laugh is so cheesy, but was hilarious. Like what we like to do on the show is somebody said this to me. It's like lean into the cringe, like Notorious Bill on my Twitter. All right. You know, I'm over the age of 35. You know, we're gonna lean into our cheese. We're gonna give you some variety because, again, you know what, folks, crypto hasn't been fun, and you gotta keep smiling. Okay, so J-Man says 50% pumps on ETH every $2 or 2-point DXY dip. Okay, that's interesting, right? Now, again, you don't know what's going to happen with the dollar. A lot of that depends on Russian gas and all kinds of other stuff like that. But again, when all the news is bad, like, you know, get yourself a crypto news website. We go through all the crypto news. You know, when all the crypto news is bad, buy. When all the crypto news is good, sell. Like, can you imagine what the crypto news is going to look like with Bitcoin at 32K? Can you imagine what the crypto news is going to look like with Bitcoin at 42K? I'm going to have like Forbes and Time Magazine calling me and going, oh my God, is Bitcoin going to 100? Watch. No, I don't think this market can go down again. Okay. I don't think it can go down again without actually going much higher. Now, when does that happen? Is it today? I don't know. Right? The market's doing a pretty good job of like sucking people in right now. It may chop around. No, if it's going to go up, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to earn it. Right? In other words, the people who bought ETH at 1,000 had to live with the risk that ETH was going to stake ETH and ETH were going to depeg. Now you have to live with the risk of chop and boredom and the Fed. So this is VeChain. So VeChain goes up. It goes up from 0.02, right? And then it retraces 38%. So somebody wanted to buy the dip in VeChain. That's good. Are small coins the best thing to hold in a rising rate environment? Also, if there's choppy action in August, are you willing to look at a larger dip in smaller coins? That's just a question you have to ask yourself. Now, personally, I've always liked VeChain. It was sad to see it get completely wrecked. Okay. I mean, if you look at like a weekly chart in this, right? I mean, it's hard to even get it all on the screen. Okay, stay with me here while I get this. So, I mean, Pi Cycle said VeChain should have bottomed at 4 cents. And there was a massive overshoot. So one of the things that I do want to talk about when it comes to small coins is how big was the overshoot, right? Like how big? Like in VeChain, it looks like the overshoot lasted like 9 or 10 weeks. So there's a theme in the smaller coins that I really haven't gotten to yet. We started looking at Engine yesterday, right? We started looking at the NFT infrastructure coins. So I think in altcoins, to get it right, you got to get the sector right. Now, if there's a VeChain catalyst, VeChain could go up. Now, somebody also mentioned, right? So Driftless is here. Welcome. Okay. Somebody also mentioned that there's a big token unlock coming in Sandbox in August. Okay. That's fair, right? But I think this idea of art and metaverse, it's a narrow window, but if you get it right, like I was looking at ApeCoin, if you get it right, okay, there's a big winner in there somewhere. There's a big winner in there somewhere. Okay. Seventh Denim says, I pray for you. And I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that. All right. Algo. Okay. I think Algorand is something we're doing a deep dive on. So if we look at an 89-minute chart of Algorand, again, some of this stuff is like so brutally destroyed, right? That I got to draw like whole new things on it for live TA. So Algorand, venture capitalists sold it at $1. Then they were selling it at 50 cents. But look here, Algorand goes below its 38% retracement, right, at 34 cents, and it comes back above it. So lo and behold, buyers showed up in Algorand. Far be it from me to say XYZ altcoin that everyone's forgotten about can't make it. Everybody blew off Cosmos, goes up 200%. Everybody blows off Matic, goes up 150%. Right? Somebody's going to win. Your coin could be that. I mean, look at this. My guilty pleasure, right? My box of chocolates under the bed, Rune, right? Interoperability. What does it do? It goes up. Okay, not investment advice. Not investment advice. But what did Rune do? Right? Rune goes up, then it retraces what? 23%, and then smokes to the upside. Let's see where this is relative to its 60-day moving average. Oh, wait, look at this, right? Right, like one subscription to Token Metrics can give you an indicator that could change your whole existence, right? The red line is the 60-day exponential moving average, and as soon as Rune punches through that, boom, up 12%, right? Let me see if I got Avalanche right behind it, right? Now, again, you know, who's going to unseed ETH? Nobody. But the 60-day exponential moving average in Avalanche is like 24. Right? Kusama, which has been picked up in our indices, which is interesting because Kusama hasn't, you know, it did rally off the low, but it can't get above the 60-day, right? And what happens if it does, right? Like, I mean, like you got to start looking, I think, at weekly charts, right? Like if I took the 60-day off of here and I put the Williams alligator on here, I mean, the way they look at this is they say, how far away are you from like the red and blue lines, right? So if you look at Kusama, like Kusama at 54 is nothing, right? It's like, it's a joke, right? I mean, Kusama was down here. I mean, 54 was the high of Kusama in August of 2020. So Kusama went all the way back down. I remember being on a video with Oh Hey Maddie when Kusama was at 20. And what I don't know what we were talking about at the time, probably a bullish downward sloping wedge. And Oh Hey Maddie was like, Bill, hold on 1 second. Gets on his computer and just hoovers it in. All right. That's my funny Kusama story. Right. The point is, how much can that go up? I mean, it's funny that the pi cycle bottom, the pi cycle bottom thought that the bottom was 153 and it overshot to 58. And it's sitting right on top of, like, not only was 58 a prior high, but it was also the massive breakout point in January of 2021. So our AI is picking up on an epic give up trade, an epic give up trade. Okay, this is AION, right? So again, this is weekly. Very interesting kind of like hammer candlestick. I'm not sure about that. Okay, is it any good? Well, you know, obviously as it goes up, people are selling it. And I don't think I have to remind anybody that I think this is an area where either really high quality stuff, or if we go over to Uniswap, right? This is another really interesting chart. The stuff people gave up on, because I was actually wondering, is it time to be short DeFi? You know, and I'm starting to wonder if the age of picking on DeFi, like I was like, oh, maybe it's time to pick on DeFi. And then sushi, which I loved for God knows how long and got my heart broken as it crashed. I mean, dude, this looks constructive to me. This looks like a head and shoulders bottom with an upward sloping neckline. So if Uniswap never dips, I mean, if Uniswap's going up, where's ETH going to be? Seriously, right? Sao Paulo, Brazil is here. Welcome. Okay. Can Ape go back to 17? Okay. Let's check that out on token metrics. Okay, so let's look at Ape. I'm going to bring this over here. Okay. All right, so we're waiting for Ape Coin to come up here. Okay, so interesting thing about Ape Coin is, this is one of the reasons why it's got my attention. So, 528 was a big level. So was 424. It never really got there. So the huge capitulation in Ape was actually in early June. And then Ape went into a range. Now, what happens if Ape takes out the next 2 points? Remember how I have this theory that, this rally is not going to be over until most coins are above their 60-day exponential moving average or higher, or it takes out 2 quant resistance points. So if the 2 quant resistance points are 748 and 950, what happens if Ape takes out 950? Like, what's the next point? Well, if I'm reading this right, it looks like 1345. So if Ape took out 2 points, it could go to 1345. So is Ape going to go to 17? I don't know. But, what happens if Ape just smokes higher? You have to buy Ape in order to buy other deeds, and you can buy NFTs using Ape on OpenSea, as I understand that. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So Veracity, right? And honestly, I think that these levels are going to be the new way to figure out what's what in the coin you care about, right? So okay, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with Veracity, right, because of the low prices. So let me come back to that on TradingView and see if there are any other. Okay, so I'll come off this. Okay, because I know we got somebody who is pumped up about VRA. So let's check it out. Okay, so let's go to let's go to a 4-hour VRA chart and see what's going on. Okay. Okay. So this is interesting, right? There's this huge give up trade here. And, don't mind the slow TV, but there's a lot of indicators. There's a lot of charts that look like this. Let me tell you. Okay, look at that, right? Okay, so right there, what you see is VRA breaks out, comes back down to the top of this range, and someone's buying it down there, right? This is this whole idea. You see these formations, it goes up, it comes back, it retests. It might be a fib number. It might be like this, right? Where, it was like this forced selling thing, and then boom, it pops. This is classic downward sloping wedge price action. Now, I know everyone hopes that this will happen to their coin, right? And I know someone's been calling in for VRA for a long time. But I mean, this is VRA weekly. And you're like, oh my God, VRA is up huge. I can't buy that. Look what they did to this thing, right? they just like, I think that one of the things from a TA point of view, I got a colleague that used to say this, like, when in doubt, zoom out. I mean, when you zoom out on stuff like this, VRA went all the way back down to where the rally started from. So if you can answer the question, what's good about this? And there's a catalyst or hedge fund buyers. I mean, you can see their footprint everywhere. You can see their footprint everywhere. All right, let's see what else we got here in the chat. I think I'm getting close to wrapping it up. Okay. So someone wants to look at Hex. See if we can get that going on token metrics. Okay. And again, one of the things that I know you're going to want to be doing, honestly, right? I want to do this first before I get to Hex, right? You want to be checking what the token metrics grade is saying about your coin. Okay. So grades go, grades of 80, particularly early in a rally, it's considered bullish. Now, see how Bitcoin is creeping up to 74? Let me tell you something. Bitcoin goes above 80. That's when it could go, right? Binance coin has been in our indices, right? Okay. Polygon is 85. Avalanche is 85. Right. And we're looking at the big coins like FTX, right? Uniswap, Near, Cosmos, which has done nothing but go up, right? And you can also, like I said, like for Cosmos, you can just go in here. If you have the middle tier subscription, you can look from the ratings page, click on it, and then go right to this page that you always see me on that says that has like the visual trends indicator. That's like the Mo indicator. And then you can also click on technical analysis. So again, when you look at Cosmos, right, we're looking for the token metrics grade. We're not just looking for it to be above 80, but we want to find stuff that's the grade moons before the price moons. So yeah, Cosmos is up, I don't know, 150, 200% off its lows. Who cares, right? The grade mooned above 80, and Cosmos used to be at like, I don't know what. Cosmos, where was Cosmos in March? 34, right? So, if you go back to the ratings page, right? Right? The default, like I like to look at the big coins, but the default is the market, is the system going through and just ranking all the coins and letting you know what's above 80. Like Polymath is in there. Security tokens. Now, I'm a huge Polymath fan. So like my box of chocolates under the bed is like, I don't know, Rune, Polymath, Zcash, and Polymath is just a heartbreaker. You know what I'm saying? Like every time Polymath goes up, they just sell it, right? But they have Polymesh. They're trying to do security tokens. And the guy, and Simon Dixon yesterday, shockingly, I didn't go into the details with him. I should have, where he said the next cycle is going to be like crypto digital securities. Lo and behold, Polymath pops into our indices and becomes highly ranked the next day. So I'm just going to leave it at that, not investment advice. And Polymath hasn't done anything. So, and here's where Kusama got in our indexes because it's up 85. It's at 85 with a market cap rank of 90. Now, the Hex person is like, that's nice, Bill, but I wanted to know about Hex. So let's check out what they say about Hex. Okay, so Hex is neutral on the grade. So it's nice that we break it down for you with a dial. Right? If you look at the quant support and resistance, right? With Hex, it pulled up short at 3 cents, right? And the next resistance is at 5 cents. So, I mean, a lot of times what you want to be doing with coins is you want to check the grade. You know, you may want to check to see what's in our indices, and you want to check where is this relative to our next quant resistance point, right? And you want to check, okay, if this thing takes out the next 2 or 3, the way ETH did, that can be a way of figuring out what an upside price target is. Now, could the market trade crappy for 2 or 3 days? And will the swing trader short sellers come in? Yeah, sure. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I think with the hard trade at this point is to deal with the choppiness, but find the birds on a wire getting ready to fly above the 60-day moving average. By the way, just so you know, that's on the markets page. So this thing where it's tracking how many coins are above the 60-day moving average. When this reads 90, right, that's what I'm going to think about taking profits. When it's at 6, forget about it. Like, don't tell me this is overbought if everything is still below the 60-day, right? And then, you know, the other thing, this is where we found like DYDX. You can actually see which coins are moving up and down on big volume. So Numeraire, Prom, right? Like what's moving on volume? Ethereum name service, Barnbridge, right? All of these coins that are mooning on volume show up on this thing. So then you can turn around and go to token metrics and check it out. Okay. Sector analysis. We've not only got grades for, you know, coins, but we actually figured out how to create grades for sectors. So exchange-based tokens, right? They were up at the beginning. Derivatives were up, right? Barnbridge, DYDX, which I think is also still mooning, right? I was a big perp fan. I went to a DYDX function, right? I thought it was basically the coolest party. I went to a consensus where all these like guys were building automated market makers on top of Near. I thought it was cool as hell, right? Look at NFTs, the NFT sector, 68% with Ethereum name service moving, right? I mean, this can take you right to what's going on in the sectors, right? Now let's just go to DYDX for fun. So I really have no problem being a DYDX moon boy. You know, I was a big like future of money, crypto derivatives and trading type stuff. So let's just see where the quant levels are in DYDX. So if I'm reading this right, DYDX got down to support at 148 and 436 is possible, right? I mean, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for altcoins. If you're looking at small coins, you're looking at stuff like this. Oh, by the way, just in case you were wondering, right, you can also switch this stuff by sectors, right? So I like looking at it by market cap because I like to see what the big coins are doing. But you can also go over here, right? And you can say, I don't know, you can say, what's going on in each of these sectors that I'm currently scrolling through. And we got a lot of sectors, a lot. I mean, I just saw DeFi education go by. Okay. Somebody says, is Phantom dead? I remember that from earlier. So you can actually click Phantom ecosystem and go check out whatever is in the Phantom ecosystem, right? And check out the token metrics grades, right? And what's gone on over the last 7 days, and see if there are any bullish signals, right? So let's plug in Phantom, wrap up with that. The point is, folks, I mean, when I say token metrics is like the preeminent research house, like that includes me, that includes our other analysts, but people, when the market is moving higher, right? This is where you take a day off, right? You take more than one day off if you have to, and you get in here and you start looking through all this. So Phantom has a bullish, visual trends momentum signal, right? Then you come down here. Like one of the things I was kind of joking about earlier is people may be chasing the wrong, or they may find themselves chasing the wrong layer ones. Now, Phantom does have resistance at 31, but there was this huge give up trade. Like this reminds me of what went on in ETH at 1050. Now, if it takes out 31, the next resistance at, is roughly 38. Okay. So the point is, you want to do some homework. I know everybody on, crypto YouTube, and I think the audience likes it when people preach, right? And I don't mind preaching, but you want to be doing your homework, right? Pax, we appreciate that. I'm glad you like the stream, right? I know people do like this. They do like nuts and bolts live TA, which is interesting. Okay. So, you have Bitcoin Cash, right? You got all this stuff that's just so destroyed, right? And I have such a hard time. Like, I just got hosed in Zcash, right? Like, I thought Zcash was going just to the absolute moon and beyond, right? PiCycle thought Bitcoin Cash was bottoming at 268 and it went to 100. Now, that was the low back in March of 2020. So Bitcoin Cash went back to its COVID low. I don't know if Bitcoin Cash has a purpose, right? I'm like in the Zcash Bitter Men's Club because I thought Zcash was going, and now I'm going to have to wait because every time I go to get involved in that, I get stopped out. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. And as I understand it, things like Zcash and Bitcoin Cash, we're going to add layer one functionality. Okay, Steve's looking for Polkadot. I don't mind going back to Polkadot, right? Actually, you know what I can do is the last thing because I don't think I did it.
Not sure.
Right. Thank you. I'm pulling this up now. Let's pull this up and go to Polkadot on token metrics. Okay, so let's talk about this. We talked about it, on kind of like a philosophical level. But let's talk about the actual like nuts and bolts of the chart. So right now, Polkadot's neutral, but this is the 11th biggest crypto, right? So we're talking about total crypto market cap moving, right? So how would total crypto market cap really, really move? Okay. So here's Polkadot, right? Now, Polkadot, we talked about 7. That was the high in Polkadot back in August of 2020. Naturally, Polkadot gets killed. No one likes it, Where's the next resistance point in Polkadot? $10. So do you realize if Polkadot takes out 1, 2 resistance points, there's 10, there's 15, and 17. That means Polkadot has the 11th biggest crypto, theoretically, if it does what ETH does. So if ETH was the leader and all these other big coins take out 2 resistance points, that could be 17 in Polkadot. Now, again, all the swing traders, they're selling. Elon Musk, every day there'll be a reason why they try to hit it, right? People will take profits. That's logical. But again, I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, okay. Polkadot, the high back in August of 2020 was 745. So am I going to buy or sell Polkadot at 7? And I will leave you with that open question because, you know, again, not investment advice. Okay. Bill, you are a future of money guy, as in superior money. Right. In other words, wouldn't it be funny if at the moment where there was all these crises in fiat and there were all these problems with, you know, Japanese government bonds, the yen, you know, the euro, all these problems in legacy, recession, wouldn't it be funny if right at the point where that stuff comes to fruition, which is exactly the point crypto people have been waiting for how long, right? So legacy looks like a powder keg, even though, yeah, they may be a little bit too bearish, but there is a lot of stuff in legacy that's scary. Meanwhile, all the stuff that they talked about happening for so long, particularly the gold guys are like, oh, you know, all this stuff's going to happen. It's going to be terrible. And Rickards writes currency wars. So let me get this straight. Legacy is kind of blowing up. Governments are irresponsible. War in Europe. And nobody wants to own Bitcoin at 23K? Are you effing kidding me? So yeah, I'm a future of money guy. I'm a future of technology guy. And I remember back in 1999, and I remember in 2002 that nobody wanted to touch Amazon. Nobody, if you talked about buying internet stocks after 2000, people made fun of you. They made fun of you. They're like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. You're an IPO shiller. Just the same way people were all down on altcoins and ICOs in 2019. Right before Chainlink, Synthetics, Cardano, Cyberpunks mooned, right? Revulsion precedes reversal. Revulsion creates epic up moves. So if there is such a thing, right, as a massive bear market rally, it'll start with revulsion, right? Like, ironically, the case for crypto has never been better, has never been bigger. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in October. I don't know what's going to happen next year. But what I know is now that you should smash the like button and that you need to use your imagination. You need to get on token metrics and say, all right, if the coin in question takes out 2 resistance points, what's the possible upside target? And ironically, the more ridiculous the upside target is, unless you're in a very low quality coin, like the more bullish I think you should be, which is what I'm doing, right? Use your imagination. So let's sum it up. Bitcoin, no resistance until 32K. If Bitcoin acts like Ethereum, it could go there, and it could go there post-Fed. So it's almost like if you're going to make money, it's like you almost have like a 10-day window. August might be a break, and then you got to get set up for September in reverse, which I think is going to be a big up move, I think, right? In other words, when it didn't go down on July 4th, it maybe set up a positive September and a negative October. So you got like a 10-day window, a 30-day break for vacation, and then you got 30 days to gobble it up, right? That's how I'm doing it. And frankly, when it comes to coins, the bigger, the better. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot. Yeah, I know that's boring, right? but it's not boring if everyone's bearish at 24. I mean, can you imagine Elon selling at 28 and having it go to 42? And can you imagine what crypto YouTube looks like? Can you imagine what crypto YouTube looks like at 32? And you know what? If they're fighting it at 32, that's how it goes to 42. The way I say it, and this is the final word, the market will go up until people like it. So if the people don't like the market, no problem. The market will go up until people like it. That is the market update, everybody. I appreciate everybody for joining, right? We appreciate all of our Token Metrics customers, right? Token Metrics customers, market update viewers, we appreciate your business. This is Bill Noble. I will actually see you on Monday.